Boston Celtics are now 11 games ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Houston Rockets look like one of the best young cores in the league, even without Alperen Şengün. And Donte DiVincenzo averaged more points than Luka Doncic for an entire week. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoops Weekly Rewind, a show that will recap the last week in the NBA in 12 minutes or less. Be sure to stick around for updates on hot and cold teams, great games and performances from last week, weekly awards, and just some miscellaneous NBA news. As you can notice, I'm not in my usual setup. I'm currently on spring break, and I was also thinking that it would be fun to randomly have outdoor recaps as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. First up, the defending champs look right on schedule. The Denver Nuggets finished the week 4-0, and they had two big wins over the New York Knicks and Minnesota Timberwolves. They're currently in sole possession of first place in the Western Conference, half a game ahead of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they have one of the easier remaining schedules in the league. They're in a great spot right now. The Dallas Mavericks also went 4-0, and they had 3 road wins. Their most impressive win was beating the Kings in Sacramento by 36. Luka Doncic only averaged 27 points, but he added on over 10 rebounds and 10 assists, so still a classic Luka week. The Houston Rockets went 4-0, and they're now on a 9-game win streak. They're currently playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the game's not over, and I just had to film. Could be a 10-game win streak. It's a close game right now. Very impressive stuff from the Rockets regardless. The Los Angeles Lakers went 5-0, and they were able to beat the Bucks in Milwaukee without LeBron James. They've had a few insanely impressive wins without LeBron this year. They're still the 9 seed in the Western Conference, yet they're closer to the 1 seed Denver Nuggets than the 2 seed Milwaukee Bucks are to the Boston Celtics. The Western Conference is unbelievably stacked this year. The Washington Wizards had a very surprising week, as they went 3-1. Marvin Bagley, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdija, Kyle Kuzma, and Jordan Poole all averaged 15 or more points. A really good all-around week from them. Now on to the teams that aren't doing so hot. The Philadelphia 76ers went 1-4, and they've fallen down to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. They've gone 10-17 since Joel Embiid's injury, but the good news for them is that Embiid's doctor says that the healing process is going really well, so he should be back in time for playoffs. The Cleveland Cavaliers went 1-3, and they're just 3-7 in their last 10 games. But hopefully they can turn it around because they're still in a great spot, only half a game behind the New York Knicks for the 3rd seed in the East. Last up, I just gotta mention the Charlotte Hornets. They went 0-3, and they lost by an average of 28 points per game. They're definitely in full-on tank mode. My favorite game from last week was when the Indiana Pacers took on the Lakers in Los Angeles. This game was an offensive masterclass from both teams, as they combined for 295 points in regulation. The Pacers shot 50% from 3, while the Lakers shot 48%. And Pascal Siakam's 36 points, plus the Pacers having 8 people in double figures, wasn't enough as the Lakers took them down 150-145. As Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Spencer Dinwiddie all scored 25-plus points and ended up combining for 113 total points. The Lakers are turning it up at the right time right now, and the Pacers look great too. Pascal Siakam looks a lot more comfortable. Tyrese Haliburton has been playing through an injury and is on a slump, but if they get healthy, no team's going to want to face them in the playoffs either. Moving on to my Hoop Aesthetics weekly awards. First up, my Rookie of the Week is Amen Thompson from the Houston Rockets. He's averaged 14 points, over 9 rebounds, and over 3 assists on 55% from the field. And I just checked, and he currently has 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists against the Thunder. So if I added that game, his stats would jump up even more. Him and his twin brother are 2 of the best athletes in the entire NBA, and he's starting to really understand how to use it and get comfortable in the league. He's one of my favorite players to watch, and I can't wait to see him keep growing. My surprise player of the week is Donte DiVincenzo from the New York Knicks. He averaged about 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals per game. He was also extremely efficient, with shooting splits of 52%, 44%, 57%. He's usually a solid free throw shooter, but whatever. My Eastern Conference player of the week is Pascal Siakam from the Indiana Pacers. Indiana went 3-1, with their lone loss being the one against the Lakers that I talked about, and he averaged over 29 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2 steals on 61%, 40%, 58% shooting. I really do love his fit in Indiana, and I hope Tyrese Haliburton starts to feel like himself again, because those 2 players next to each other is really fun to watch. Amazing week from Siakam. My Western Conference player of the week is Jalen Green, also from the Houston Rockets. It's now my 3rd time mentioning it, but the Rockets went 4-0, and he averaged an absurd 34 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 51, 46, 82% shooting splits. If he actually becomes a consistent, reliable scorer, the Rockets are cooking up something special in Houston. In my opinion, their best player is Alperen Şengün, but him being out for the year is allowing a lot of other people to develop, and in a few years, they could come together really nicely. Moving on to my Rookie of the Year rankings as of March 27th. In third place, I have Brandon Miller from the Charlotte Hornets. Everyone was hating on the Hornets taking him number 2 overall in 2023, but as of now, it looks like a great pick. He's averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. I've been really impressed whenever I've watched him, not only with his talent, but it seems like he really loves the game. He makes a lot of hustle plays that you just wouldn't expect on the Hornets, and next season I really hope I can watch a healthy Hornets team because LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, maybe Miles Bridges, and I just hope they can start that upwards trajectory. Second place is Chet Holmgren from the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a really unfortunate second place because I would say like 95% of seasons, he would be a clear Rookie of the Year winner. He's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and he's doing it insanely efficiently at 54% from the field, 38% from 3, and 79% from the free throw line. He's also averaging 2.5 blocks per game. The craziest part about it, though, is that he's doing this on a contending Thunder team. They're currently in second place in the West and only half a game behind the Denver Nuggets. Impacting winning that much as a rookie really is special, and I don't want people to overlook his season just because Wembanyama will likely win the award, because he's having an incredible rookie year too. I think the winner is very clear, and it's Victor Wembanyama. He's averaging 20.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Those are incredible numbers for a rookie, and he's doing it decently efficiently for how poor his situation is too, at 47%, 32%, and about 80% from the free throw line. His biggest strength, though, as of now, is definitely defense. He should make an all-defensive team as a rookie, which hasn't been done since Tim Duncan in 1998. Wemby is averaging 1.3 steals and 3.4 blocks per game. He is a terror on defense, just has players completely turning down shots. I know people are realizing that he's really, really good, but I'm not sure if people realize just quite how great he could be. This man is honestly on a GOAT trajectory. The NBA just has to watch out for Victor Wembanyama. Now just for some miscellaneous NBA news. A lot of this is like a week or two old because I haven't posted recently, but it's all very applicable still. Ben Simmons underwent his second back surgery. I feel really bad for him. Injuries just suck so much, and he was such a great player in his prime, and it's likely he'll never be able to get back to that point. OG Anunoby missed 18 games in a row for the Knicks, and then came back for 2. They went 2-0, but apparently his right elbow flared up again, so he's been out the last few games. I'm really hoping he can be healthy by the playoffs, same with Julius Randle, because the New York Knicks are such a fun team, and I think they might be the only team in the Eastern Conference that could give Boston a run for its money. I would pick the Celtics, but the healthy New York Knicks are the only team that I could see having a chance. Maybe the Bucks too, but Saddiq Bey tore his ACL and then shot some free throws on it after. Crazy stuff. Benedict Mathurin from the Pacers had a right shoulder injury, and he also had surgery. Unfortunately, he's out for the year. That's a big spark plug off the bench. Hopefully he heals well. Christian Wood and Jared Vanderbilt from the Lakers are also likely out for the season. And I mentioned this earlier, but Joel Embiid should be back before the playoffs, as the doctors are happy with his progress. The 76ers have been struggling, and it'll be tough to find the rhythm in a short amount of time, but they're one of the more talented teams in the league, and Embiid's a top 5 player. They could still make some noise in the playoffs, so don't count them out yet. Now, these are all things that happened last week, but I just had to mention them because they're insane. The Kyrie Irving game winner against the Nuggets. A lefty skyhook from past the free throw line over Nikola Jokic as time expired. What a ridiculous shot. Anthony Edwards had the dunk of the year over John Collins. And here's a video of him reacting to it.
Oh my God. Hey, that was my best dunk of my career, I'm not gonna lie. Are you about to...
Freak athlete, and I expect him to go off in the playoffs. I can't wait to watch. Lastly, Grady Dick and Anthony Black had a jersey swap, and it went viral all over social media for some reason. Now for my last segment, I'll talk about some of my favorite games of next week. On Friday, March 29th, it's a rematch of the Lakers heading to Indiana to play the Pacers. Who knows if this game will turn out to be good? but just this last week they almost combined for 300 points, so I'll definitely be tuning in. On Sunday, March 31st, the Oklahoma City Thunder go to New York to play the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. I think this is a great test for the Thunder. Madison Square Garden is obviously one of the harder places to play in the league, and the Knicks are still great even with their injuries. My last game is very similar, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on a great Eastern Conference team, the Boston Celtics, on Wednesday, April 3rd. Two of the best teams in the league, and Boston's been so dominant at home. I would love to see how much of a fight the Thunder can put up. This will feel like a playoff game. It's a great matchup, must-watch game. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoops Weekly Rewind. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as that helps me out a ton. And I'll be back next week for another NBA breakdown.